You hear that music? You know what time it is. It's 7 p.m. on a Thursday evening over on YouTube. Folks, welcome on into Z and B Live, your unfiltered Lego podcast. Good evening.
Hey,
Mr.
man.
Bricks O'Brien. How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome in.
I'm good. I chipping away at all the infinite things I got to do and not do. I'm trying to keep a cool head with all this stuff going on between the Kickstarter, between this pitch stuff, between whatever. So I'm sleeping. I'm taking that midday nap a little more often than I probably should, but it's helping me not lose my mind.
When you do your punch list, right? Everybody has a to-do list, right? We all sit down and we all we sit down on our, we're laying in bed the night before, right? We all have we start making a little to-do list. Are you one of those people that has this ever-growing list on one page and you just keep adding to it? Or do you try to help keep your sanity together and condense stuff down into a reasonable, I'm going to call it five things I need to get done today or tomorrow or whatever?
There's stuff on different lists, but it's all in one. I use Google Tasks. So there's literally a Z and B list that's okay. This should happen at this time, and it automatically goes live and whatever. And then, once it's done, I just tick the box off and then it goes back on the docket the next week. Right. So, more overarching, whatever things and also I'll be out randomly and I'm like, oh, here's a random idea. So I'll toss it onto the Twitch list or the YouTube list or the whatever list. And then most recently it's been, the pitch and random Kickstarter stuff and waiting for stuff to happen. But generally smaller lists and then one general, this is what should get done this week or today.
Yeah. I've fallen into the pit myself, the trap where I start making a list and it gets ridiculously long and then I get overwhelmed, right? When I'm not checking enough. And so I've been trying to be better about my own punch list of, okay, I need to do these 5 things. That's it. If I get these 5 things, I take a nap. You know what I mean? Not that I'll take a nap, but that's if I can get these 5 things done, then I'm allowed to play a game or I'm allowed to do whatever. I'm allowed to I got to get this smaller list of stuff done. And that helps me feel a little bit more accomplished throughout my day. So I hate to see people get into that trap of overwhelming themselves with their punch list. But we're about to overwhelm our entire audience because we got a lot of stuff to talk about on this episode of Z and B Live. And if you are live with us this evening on YouTube, which you could be every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern over on YouTube, I want everybody to smash those heart buttons in the live chat right now. Give the overall show a like, give it a share if you're out there in the social sphere. Push it out there. Let me see you guys sharing out the link to the website, or if you're catching us after the fact, share us that way. Catch us over on the podcast channels like Spotify, Apple Podcast, all that stuff. Leave a comment about your favorite part of the show, what you thought we were the most craziest for saying for the show, whatever you want to say. Comment, review, rate, do all the things. We want to hear that feedback about the show and your experience with it. Mr. Bricks O'Brien.
Yeah, man.
You've got some stuff coming up. We just kind of teased it a second ago, but you got a show that you're pitching in Vegas. We've talked about it out there for NAB. We've added something to the docket though here that I want to get some clarification on. So you're going out there to NAB. You're going to be pitching a show.
Yes.
But what is this panel thing that's happening?
So in my meeting about this upcoming pitch situation, the gentleman who's in charge of this event and along with my partner manager and all that, talking about experience with all these different platforms, because obviously I just don't have my stuff on YouTube or Twitch, but it's on its own Roku channel and Kidoodle TV and all these other avenues that I've had my stuff on, which really relates really well to a lot of the people that are going to be at this convention. So basically, I'm going to be on a panel with a bunch of executives from these networks and whatever talking about the new TV content marketplace and what does it mean to be a TV channel or studio or provider, and how does it relate to what is happening right now? Because a lot of these people, there's these broadcast channels that go out on like a Samsung TV, a Tubi TV. There's all these different avenues, and people watch them. Now it's not as accessible as like turning on a random Twitch stream and calling it a day, right? But like, Tubi, you could watch the Super Bowl for free for signing up for an account, which is way better than signing up for like a Peacock and paying that kind of money to do it that way, right? So they're trying to figure out where are people at, and content creators like me have done this and put content on all these different platforms and like, okay, how do I reach my audience? And then how do I decide what goes up over there? And how do you change it from what you already do? Does it resonate? Which it does. So instead of just being in the audience, I'm actually on the panel with these people. So not only am I pitching my own show, but then I'm going to be on a panel with the executives I'm going to be pitching to. So I will absolutely be wearing the brown pants all weekend long and trying to maintain my composure with this. So that's been my entire focus.
Is the panel before or after the pitch?
It is after the pitch. So the pitch will happen, and then I get about a half-hour break, and then this panel is the last panel of the day. So I said, can I go third on the lineup of people doing the pitch, because I don't want to be the last one. I need a little bit of buffer time, and don't want to have that presentation fatigue that might happen with people watching all of us go right in a row. And then immediately afterward, basically, I get to be on that panel with people. So
that's exciting. That's wild. I actually was just having a conversation about the future of television and where it's headed and how things have changed just the other day, because an old client of mine moved exclusively to ESPN Plus as opposed to accessible cable, and their audience is not happy.
I'm sure
that they're now adding another subscription based platform.
So wait, accessible cable meaning like their local channel 5, or what does that mean?
Your typical, like what you would already package with a typical cable subscription, right? So your typical cable subscription is going to have basic sports channels. So like instead of ESPN Plus, ESPN, instead of whatever, instead of just ESPN, ABC, right?
Yeah, right.
Or instead of Peacock, NBC. See what I mean?
Yes.
So that's where, is that the future of television? Is it, we just have to deal with the fact that the days of normal cable, the days of normal cable stations and whatnot, like we're all going to, we wanted it for the longest time, this a la carte idea of we're going to just buy the channels that we want.
Yeah.
And now we kind of almost have that, but it's like because it's still this weird, hodgepodge of, well, we have cable, but if you want some of the other exclusive content, you got to go to this paid subscription, or all, the cool stuff this month is all going to be on Netflix. You got to make sure you have your Netflix account going this month or whatever.
Like that's exactly why I'm on this panel as a creator, to talk like, all right, well, what if, like, it's weird being like the Goomba in a cake with a half built to Luigi in his background, and then I can be on this panel like, well, actually, the industry that I've noticed in my, it's weird. It's really weird. But I feel like I understand it really well. And what I don't understand is why more of these companies and shows and whatever don't put it on YouTube. Why don't you put it on a Twitch to simulcast it? Because that's what all of us are doing anyways. We're trying to do like multiple avenues to get our stuff out. So put it out everywhere. Mm-hmm. And like I've noticed, I've done all this research, and like all the pieces have come together. I'm like, well, these people do it this way. And like If I were to go about doing it, how would it be different? And what, like, and putting it all down, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm Emmett in the Lego movie, and it's all just like, you know.
It depends on the audience too, though. Like there's definitely a disconnect with an older audience that the idea of watching YouTube on your TV
is scary.
Doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem normal. That doesn't seem like, you know, finding the app or whatever on your smart TV of some kind. Like that's not an easy process for them, you know, because they grew up channel clicking, you know. And the idea of even moving to the digital guide was a pretty big step for them, right? And you have to kind of still know that audience is out there, and they are a lot of the people that are watching and absorbing long form television. So you still have to be ready to make content for them and make it accessible for them.
Those people are out there, but what happens if you take a show like something I could produce, and then you put it there, but you also have the newness of like, join our Discord server and be part of the conversation, and you can help us decide what our programming is for next week and have that level of interactivity. So that's, I mean, we'll talk about it after the show here, but that's basically what this pitch is.
Sure.
Is like it's like a massively fluffed up Twitch stream combined with the high quality nature of like a broadcast production, put it out as many places as possible for people to watch, and have talented and creative people do. I mean, obviously it's a big wish list, right? But like, they need people like us more than they realize. And that's what this panel and this pitch is all. That's literally how the people in charge framed it to me. They need people like you more than ever. Go up on stage and kill it. And I'm like, say less, say less. So my notebook is beaming. I'm ready to go. Put me in, coach. Put me in.
Amazing.
No hype horns for that, really? Sorry. Come on, give me one. Remember,
all I was
3 caramel, almond milk, large ice.
I was just singing center field in my head, and when you started yelling about "put me in, coach," that's all I was doing. I was just singing center field at that point. So I was like, we'll get. It's fine. It's fine. You know what's killing it right now?
Not Mattel.
Not Mattel. What's killing it right now, though? Boy, Lego. Yo, this week, in a surprising move this week, announces out of nowhere a multi-year deal with one of the biggest IPs that you could possibly get your hands on. That being Pokemon. Starting in 2026. Okay, now we'll get into the Mattel thing here in a little bit, but obviously, from a brick building standpoint, Mega Constructs, one-time Mega Blocks, Mattel had their grubby little paws just surrounding that IP, and they had a death grip on it, man. Matter of fact, they had just announced a renewed license back in 2022 for a multi-year, for the foreseeable future, new contract with Pokemon. But we'll get to them in a little bit. So Lego makes this announcement, and the world caught fire. I have never seen, seriously, this is even beyond the $1,000 Death Star leak, rumor, whatever you want to call that happened earlier this year. I've never seen more news outlets pick up this story about Lego than I have in probably 4 years. Like it's been crazy to see how many just like major news sites and whatnot have picked up and have posted stories about this particular announcement. It's been pretty crazy. I'll get to Brian's thoughts here in a second. I am not a Pokemon guy. I
Well,
loved.
I'm gonna use the bathroom. You keep going.
I loved Pokemon Go. Boy, look at this. It's already. Wow, my God! It's like cameras going crazy. I loved Pokemon Go. I had a lot of fun with Pokemon Go. And a matter of fact, this announcement has kind of got me reinvigorated about starting up Pokemon Go again, right? And possibly, unearthing that app once more. But even not being a Pokemon guy, not being a huge Pokemon fan, not collecting the cards, not playing the game, I understand the cultural significance that Pokemon has on the population of this world. There are so many Pokemon fans, old to young, from all across the globe. This Lego getting their hands on this IP is absolutely huge news. And I'm not sure. This is why I want to get Brian's take on this question to start. Have we seen Lego get their hands on an IP that had this kind of ripple effect? And I'm talking like even back into 99 when they got Star Wars. Like, was that even that big? Pokemon's huge. I'm shocked at how big Pokemon is.
Man, what a big question. I think at least so comparing it to Star Wars is apples to oranges because no internet, so you can't really hold a candle, right? Okay. Is Star Wars bigger than Pokemon by market cap? No, it's not. Pokemon's bigger. It's way more international. This is definitely very big. It is definitely a moment. Unfortunately, we won't know until we see a set. And, the thing is, looking at what Lego, needed before to complete their roster, Pokemon was definitely one of them that they never tapped into. And I was actually at peace with that because I think Mattel did a really good job with Pokemon because Lego, and I still believe this, and people I've talked to who are Lego designers, not officially from the company, but like people who are savvy with Lego, they are concerned, as am I, that Lego will not be able to replicate the amount of molds and colors necessary to make these Pokemon look good. Mega was willing to go the extra mile to make everything look good. It looked like Gyarados and Eevee and Charizard because all of these molds and these pieces are so intricate and specialized, and the colors are like, there are differences between that and Lego. And yes, obviously Lego has a ton of pieces in the catalog, but not of pieces where I feel it matters. Most importantly, that notorious light bluish gray ball joint that they refuse to recolor for any of these buildable characters. These sets are going to have tons of them because they need to be movable. And if you notice that tail from the trailer with the thing, that tail is probably about that big and it's brick built. So that Pikachu is going to be about this big. It's going to be a brick built thing. It's not going to be a minifigure, whatever, not that version at least. It's going to be about the size of fit in the palm of your hand like that. So unless Lego is going to have custom colored joints in order to make it look more authentic and on point, I'm actually not confident that Lego can do a better job than Mega at these sets at that scale with the level of interactivity, especially with the ones with that had the motion to them. Lego, number one toy brand, number one brick building brand. Yeah. But like those Mega sets are really good, man. The price points are really good, man. Like, so you can have the biggest IP in the world, but if you're going to fumble the bag like you did with Sorcerer Mickey, doesn't matter. You gotta
Bluey comes to mind as recent as people
Bluey,
like,
and that is huge as well. So are we looking at Sorcerer Mickey or are we looking at a Mario Kart here? We don't know, and we won't know for another 9 months. So start pinching your pennies. But I'm not I'm not confident this is as big of a slam dunk as the greater public might want it to be right now.
So speaking of 9 months, why announce this now? What's the reason? It's almost as
the headline.
Well, but why the headline right now? Why the headline in April?
I continue to think it has to do with whatever marketing plan they have with what the new Pokemon game will be, Legends ZA, which releases, or Z Alpha, whatever, I don't know. It releases, I believe, for Christmas. We have Switch 2, and full transparency here, and fun fact for those who might not know, Nintendo has a majority share in Pokemon. They don't outright own Pokemon entirely. So a lot of their marketing plans, a lot of their initiatives, a lot of their operations are entirely independent of Nintendo, but they do have a 51% share. So you're not going to see Pokemon on Xbox and PlayStation, whatever. But if there ever was a day Nintendo were to sell that 1%, there you go. So although they're not held to that standard, they're kind of, I think, all playing nice. And just like they did with Mario way back when, like, we waited 6 months to get anything from it, and people waited and people got it and whatever. So,
okay. So let's put your Sorcerer Mickey hat on and let's predict the future. Okay.
Yes.
What do you, perfect world scenario, what would you want to see out of that particular IP in Lego form? What is it they need to do in your mind to knock it out of the park?
What they did with the blind boxes for Nintendo for Mario, you need to do 2 of those every year until the day I die. There's 1,000 Pokemon. You will sell every single Pokemon. People will buy it.
Do you do them in the balls though? Like, do you do all the pieces instead of boxes? Do you put them in the Pokeballs? And
I mean, then you're literally copying Mega. Like, this is what I mean, right? Like, how are you going to differentiate yourself from what they already did? I don't, do. And then scaling is a big problem. So obviously, for some of the larger Pokemon, they got to be full on set. Which, by the way, this is a 10-year thing. This is not a 5-year thing. This is not 3. This is a 10-year plan. I guarantee you they signed a 10-year deal. They're going to get through as many Pokemon and situations as they can. So I want to see boxes. I don't need the Pokemon. I actually had a bunch of those Pokeballs and I kind of discard them, whatever. Well, not throw them away, but they're not valuable. And I want larger built models, obviously not like a bricker build size, Piplup and whatever, but yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Throw like this is wish list. Like, this is what do they need? What do they need to do that you're like, yep, nailed it. Yep, killed it. This is it. This is them printing money right now.
Something that I haven't already seen Mega do.
Maybe it is. Maybe that's the point, though. Maybe it doesn't need to be reinventing the wheel. It's taking the groundwork that's been laid and making it better. That's the Apple mentality. Apple, for the longest time now, isn't necessarily the first to product anything, but they improve on it typically, and they make it really, really good outside of like their digital assistant. But they'll take it and they'll typically improve upon it, right? I don't see a problem with them looking at what Mega did, what worked, what didn't work, and saying, okay, yeah, they did the Pokeballs. So can we. We're just gonna, instead of them just being the standalone whatever, we'll make them hinged or something. Like, we'll do something different with the design or style of it, and it'll be a collector item with it. I think they need to, as much as people hate on the Mario electronics and the scannable thing, I think if you start adding a electronic side to this and you add a Pokédex of sorts, now all of a sudden, like, I know people sometimes you want to live in your Lego world and not have to go to an app, but people in the Pokemon world don't mind that. Like, and that's who this is for, right? Like, it's all about collectability and having a Pokédex of sorts that you can now scan, and part of that is the ball that has it and whatever, and it's got an electronic component to it where you can make smaller buildable figures that can stick on top of it and scan and do something fun or whatever. I don't know, but that's how you make it special. That's how you separate it from Mega, and you use technology that you've already invested money heavily into. You could do something.
By the way, I want to put this PSA out there for everybody listening, watching right now. All right. I want you to mentally prepare for this moment, emotionally prepare for it, because this will happen. This is not an if, this is happening. Prepare. Launch day for a product, a gift with purchase, or whatever. There absolutely will be a collectible card, a Pokemon TCG card like this, that is a Lego variant of some of these Pokemon, and people will lose their if you thought a BTS or Lord of the Rings or whatever, if you thought was popular, if you thought that was at the Lego store, if you thought it was going to sell out before, if you're complaining about Lego not having their act together online and in store now, you have absolutely no idea the storm that awaits you the moment something like this hits. It is going to be a disaster, and I need you to emotionally and mentally prepare for the strife you will undergo because of all these neckbeards taking away these Pokemon cards from children in store and online. Prepare now. I don't want to hear any whining. It's going to happen. Prepare.
It's been in the news this past couple weeks with the drop of the new card series, right? People have been forearm shivering 12-year-olds trying to get to vending machines and stuff, right? Like to get these cards. The card component is, I feel like that is a no-brainer for Lego, but I hope they are prepared. I hope their servers are prepared.
It will be a disaster.
Because that's definitely the direction they need to go with this, again, to help separate it out from whatever. To me that's a no-brainer. I'm going to flip it a little bit though. How can Lego screw this up?
Like I mentioned before, it's having these buildable Pokemon and not having the ball joints to make it work. If it's all gray, like if you try to make a Charizard that is this big, and they're like a Charizard, he's got like thin arms, so trying to like that is an easy way to mess it up. You make them way more expensive than they have any right to be, because that was the benefit of it being with Mega. They were priced really well. I know it's not authentic,
always on sale.
Authentic Lego, whatever, but like I think they're great. None of what Mega came out with, I'm like, wow, this is garbage. It's all good. It's all whatever. I don't know what I want out of this. I have no idea, because I'm spoiled. I have the Bricker Builds Piplup. That's all I could ever really want. I've seen brick built Pokemon that look great. So what can Lego do that is different that will want me to buy these? I truly don't know. I have no idea.
I'm happy that I'm not a Pokemon guy because of this. Because I know that this is going to be a crazy whatever thing, and I know people are going to be chasing the collectible cards and all of this other, and I'm just like, I am so glad that finally there is a Lego property, Lego brand outside of the Bricklink Designer Program brand that I'm just not going to chase. And my wallet is going to thank me. My wife is going to thank me. I'm lucky my son is no longer into Pokemon right now. Like, it's not, his thing. So, I'm going to have a great time seeing everybody else do it and share it and be hyped about it and whatever. But finally, thank God, there is a bit of FOMO that I'm not going to feel when it comes to Lego and an IP or a property. So yeah, I was trying to think of how they could screw it up. I was trying to think about what we would really want them to do. I'm not sure if there's a middle ground there of what we just expect them to do. I personally think that I personally think it's not going to be all that special. Meaning, I don't think we're going to get the blind boxes. I don't think we're going to get the collectible cards. I don't think we're going to get a bunch of electronics or anything in there. I think it's going to be very Sonic-like. It's going to be some, playset scenarios that you can do, a gym of some kind, right? A battle arena kind of thing. Maybe with a Pikachu kind of to start off the thing, that Peely style, display for the adults, right? But then it's going to be a lot of the kids sets, and play sets for that. That they hope that they can snag some of the adults with, because I feel like they think they could print money with this regardless of what they put out, right? $10,000 a day, $12,000, people will pay it. Like, it's the Jurassic Park mentality here. Like, they could put out crap, and because it's the brand that it is, people will pay it. And that's what I think. I think they're going to just keep their costs low, which is, we've been seeing that a lot. That's been the trend, right? Keep the costs as low as possible with their overhead as low as possible, and overcharge a little bit for some of these IPs, and just expect people to pay it. So I'm not personally expecting them to do a lot of craziness with this. I think it's going to be a very basic kind of, kind of brand that they push out, in my opinion. But who knows?
And look forward to that for literally the next 10 years. I will be talking about this when I'm almost 40 years old.
There you go. Obviously, the other side to all of this story is Mattel, and them along with Mega Constructs holding that license, which now
Zach, you know what this is? This is you going out with that girl in high school, and then you go off to college, and she's like, "Yeah, no, we're still a thing," and then there's that 3 weeks where she doesn't really talk to you, and then there's a new boyfriend, and then you're out.
So Mattel did the cheeky thing back on National Lego Day of announcing Mattel Brick Shop, right? So everybody's out there celebrating National Lego Day, whatever, or International Lego Day, whatever they called it, right? And then Mattel puts out this post of, coming in 2026, or May of 2025. I can't remember what the date is now. Anyway, coming soon, Mattel Brick Shop, right? Lego basically said, "Hold my adult beverage," and tore from their dead hands. And I say dead hands because they posted a loss in their financial earnings this past year, while Lego posted a gain. Pried from their cold dead hands. They're one of their biggest IPs that they possibly could. And I wonder if that was because the uncertainty surrounding Mega Constructs anyway. Was Mattel Brick Shop dissolving Mega Construct? Was it going to kind of, to get rid of them? Or they're going to try to live side by side, whatever. But basically Mattel, if they live side by side, had a competing brand, right? So maybe there was a little bit of that uneasiness, and in the background they had a renewal coming up that nobody knew about. Or maybe because of them saying we're dissolving Mega Constructs, that requires, right, the IP to re-up their contract. Nobody's kind of being forthcoming with this information yet. However, Mattel Brick Shop did tweet out that as of December 2025, Mega will no longer be supplying Pokemon products. Keep an eye out for exciting new collaborations with Mattel Brick Shop. Again, makes me really think Mega's gone.
Okay, so I'll tell you exactly why. Because when I Google Mega Pokemon Mega Evolution comes up, which is a part of the new game coming out. From a search engine optimization perspective, which is I've been really in shill corporate mode recently, can't you tell? It doesn't translate well. So if you say, Barbie Mattel Brick Shop, it'll pop right up. but Mega Pokemon, nothing. I literally did that and nothing popped up. So I think that's one thing. I think, like a contract ended and now it's time. All right, we're done. And that's okay. It happens. There's nothing, whatever about it. And then, yeah, you can Mega as a name. Okay. Mega Constructs as a name with the X at the end of it. That's a bad name. Mega is a bad name. So what is more like when you think of Mattel, what can you call it that is very Mattel? It's Mattel Brick Shop. I think it literally is just as simple as that. And then the Pokemon contract was up and they're like, I'll forget about it. We're going to go to Lego because they're not going to Brickcraft. They're not going anywhere else. They're obviously going to Lego. So,
well, I'm like I said, my business hat says that if Mattel dissolved the company that the IP had a contract with, that they would have to re-up that contract. And that's when Lego pounced.
I think they would have had a contract with Mattel and not Mega.
I'm not sure the way the wording was done when they re-upped in 2022, it was Mega Constructs has renewed the license with Pokemon for the foreseeable future on a multi-year deal for the foreseeable future. And it was specified as Mega as opposed to Mattel. So it was an interesting whatever, but I don't know. I don't know because they're not telling. They're not saying anything.
No, of course not. You'll never know.
But that being said, what the heck does Mattel have now? Like that was their big deal, was like they could bring Pokemon over to the brick shop, right? Now what?
Everything else, they got everything in their wheelhouse. They got Fallout and Barbie and Hot Wheels, which I think they really could make it like, people love their Speed Champions. I think you can make some really sick Hot Wheels stuff and make it like up to snuff and make it really, really cool. He-Man. There's no shortage of stuff out there that is enticing from a brand perspective that Lego won't touch or doesn't care about, that Mattel can do really well. I'm not concerned about that. I think it's going to be cool. You just got to release good stuff, man. Just release good stuff. And, like the Mega Pokemon stuff is right next to the Lego aisle in Target. So like, I don't know what more you could want. Like there's still definitely stuff Lego is not going to touch. They're not going to touch Fallout, and Fallout has a hit TV show. It has this, it has that, right? Like there's stuff they can do.
Yeah. Well, speaking of making good stuff, good friends of ours, the boys over at Bricker Builds, they've been doing a lot of stuff with Pokemon over the years, right? They do a lot of stuff with Nintendo. Does this affect them at all? Does the Lego acquiring IP like that's something that's kind of their bread and butter, does that affect them at all?
I mean, when you're making stuff based off of other people's stuff, it's like, all right, it's still the same kind of ramifications. Like it's the same ramifications if like they stole like Cuddles the Penguin drawing out of my drawer and we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna whatever. It's like, it's the same kind of idea. And if anything ever comes up, it's a conversation and you work it out, whatever. But I don't know. I more so from I would say a product perspective, like, all right, if we make a life-size Proud Penguin, will that matter in terms of like, people wanting it, yes or no? But they generally go like life-size creations of stuff. I don't think any of these people are going to do life-size anything at all. It's just not cost-effective. Like the Bricker Builds, that Italian dinosaur, that Yoshi, is like $2,500. Now Lego has some matzo balls doing $1,000. They're not doing $2,500, so it's not a concern.
They couldn't sell the $400 Black Panther bust. They're not gonna do. They're not gonna make.
But also, Bricker is probably not selling tens of thousands of these units, like Lego is. Right. So it's different.
Apples and oranges. I get it. So yeah. So we really shouldn't see any change in anybody's plans of releasing stuff. I mean, again, they've been releasing Nintendo stuff forever now, and they Lego's had it, so I don't personally see them having a issue with it either. Beyond the Pokemon conversation, which again you could keep beating this thing into the dirt here. There's a lot to still talk about with in ideas and speculation on what's happening with the Pokemon deal. But let's move into some hard facts, some hard stuff that we know is happening. And that is the new Bricklink Designer Program Series 7. Crowdfunding begins April 1st, and we got our list of 5 finalists, finally, that everybody's going to be able to start funding on February 1st in 2026. And there were some interesting choices this year, Brian. I don't know if you had a chance to look at any of them, but did any of them catch your eye as, oh my gosh, yes, absolutely, versus why?
I think this one featured on screen is a big why.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's very different, and I get like inserting it in there because it's so different than anything that I feel like I've seen them do through the designer program, but it's to me. I don't know.
This is I don't have the game case on me, but this is Astrobot, but not Astrobot from PlayStation,
Well, Lego just this year released what was a 3-in-1 robot that looks very close to this. Like really, really, really close to this.
I don't know. If any of them, the Alchemist shop looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not. Same thing as kind of the blacksmith. I got rid of the blacksmith, so no, none of them piqued my fancy. I can save some money. I'm good.
Yeah, and once again, I've tried to stay away from the Bricklink Designer Program sets. It's not a series that I feel like I need to be going down. My wallet doesn't need to be going down, and there really wasn't anything for me in this set of stuff. And I know there are going to be things that people look at and like, and the antique collection was one that I've heard on the top of some people's lists just because of the interesting micro builds and whatnot that are going on. And as a micro build fan, it's kind of cool, whatever. But this Walt robot, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know why this is a thing. And just for my purposes, because I don't really dive into these sets, they have to they go up for funding on February 1st. They have to be fully funded in order to have the set made.
The
right?
threshold is so low that there's a minimum order quantity. So it needs to hit. I think if there's 10,000 units available, they have to hit 1,000, 2,000, like 20% of the goal. It's not like a Kickstarter where it's all or nothing. There's a minimum and that's it. So almost every single time it has sold out, and sometimes it has not hit that minimum order quantity. So there's a possibility 2,000 people don't want this and then it doesn't get made. That is a possibility. But every time, as of recent memory, they've all gotten the minimum, because there's also those people that are like, oh, well, all of these really appreciate in value, so let me get my 2 and sit on them. So that's not everybody, but it's enough people to make a dent. So
right now, we've also this year there's still the crowdfunding goes up for Series 5 and 6 this year, right? June for Series 5 and October.
Now that one I'm in.
Cool, because of the village. Yeah. So June for Series 5, October for Series 6. So like already on top of all of the other crazy releases that Lego is pushing out, now you're also looking at 2 different Bricklink Designer Program series of sets that you're going to have to pay for.
And we've already had one, so pretty much one per quarter from now until we croak. Right. So have fun.
My God.
Have fun.
Wallets are crying all over the world. And like I said, I mean, this is on top of the other releases that they have coming out. Now, we are still, as of recording this show on, what's the date today? The 20th of March. We still have not yet gotten an official word on the Lord of the Rings The Shire set. We know that there's a live designer signing on April 5th. They need sets to sign. So you would think that the sets would come out on April 1st, and we're 1 week away basically from that. And yet radio silence on what could be one of the biggest selling sets of the middle of the year, right? Like the summer sets, right? We're going to get into, I don't understand it. I don't get it. Instead, we got an announcement for something that's happening 9 months from now. So okay.
I wonder if in their marketing plan, they were like, oh, we finally inked the deal on this. Let's expedite this and put this out. You know, yeah. What? Yeah. And there's also, what if they cancel that designer meeting because of something, you know, maybe something happened and they can't do it anymore. There's plenty of reasons. If it still comes out April 1st, that's definitely not enough notice to, you know, warn people on it. And they're not going to, maybe they'll do it on Saturday while we're off or whatever, but it's not great.
I know, because I know they're watching and I know what they're going to do. They were waiting for us to go live, be done with the show so they can announce it tomorrow morning. That's what they're going to do. So the whole segment, this part of the segment of the show is busted at that point. That's what they're going to do. Check 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, lego.com. It'll be up there. I guarantee you.
9 a.m. They do the announcements at 9 a.m.
Oh, 9 a.m. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's 9 a.m. So, but still, like 8-9 days, no, 10 days notice. That's not enough to like.
That's crazy.
The other half of it too is like it's going to sit on store shelves for 2 years. So I don't know.
I mean, I get it, but it's still like it just doesn't. It doesn't compute in my brain why you take a set that is as a tent pole of the spring line that you're going to be pushing out that you already on your own website leaked and said, hey, we got a designer signing that we've, you know, like they don't even have time to like at this point, like they don't even have time to market the designer signing now because they took it away, right? They took the announcement away of that. They have these things planned out. They know when these sets are going to be released. So like, it's not like even if the designer signing got canceled, it's not like they're going to bump the date for the set to be released. You know, it's not like a Temple of Doom scenario where it was a little too rough and we don't really appreciate the design, whatever. We're not going to put it out there, blah, 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 blah. Like this is a Lord of the Rings, a very, you know, this is a safe set to put out, right?
I'm still mad they never came out with the Temple of Doom set. And you have a whole new lineup of stuff that came out and like one of the movies is missing. Well, Crystal of Skull was also missing too, but we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about Christopher. Yeah, we don't talk about that movie. We don't. It's like Bruno. It is the Bruno of the Indiana Jones franchise. That being said, though, we've already had like already forget the Bricklink designer program sets, right? You've already had you had a massive January once again, right? You had February that kind of saw the Cullen House, right? March, you know, we had Van Gogh, Ninjago sets, that lovely STEM set, F1, the first batch of F1 sets, you know, kind of hit. Then in the middle of the month, you had the T-Rex come out. Now on April 1, you're going to have Beauty and the Beast. On April 7th, you're going to have the Steamboat, right? This set should be there in that mix as well. These are big sets in those months, like huge sets in those months. And now we're a month away from May. Hello, Star Wars. We are. Hello, Star Wars, right?
Wait, have they announced Star Wars stuff for May?
They have not, but come on, it's May. Like
no, of course they will.
It's
but like
it's, you know, what do you always say? It's you can count on for January. You can count on, you know, taxes, whatever in a modular. Right. Like it's the same thing in May. Like expect a UCS set of some kind from the Star Wars lineup, as well as a bunch of other who knows what is going to hit in May, right? So already you're allocating funds to that. Oh, and then by the way, they're going to give us one of the best looking Mario sets ever in the history of Mario sets ever in May. Right? And then the Bricklink designer stuff comes up. Wallets are crying all over the planet, Brian.
I'm telling you, man, if you're a Lego fan, you're cooked. You gotta just look at some stuff. You gotta this is a pro gamer tip for life. You gotta look at some things and just be like, nah, I'm good, and then just walk away. That's it.
Walk away. Well, I'll tell you what I'm walking away from. These freaking 90s sets. So just like the 80s ideas competition they had, Lego invited a bunch of designers to come in and design some of their favorite 90s, you know, what the definitive 90s set, right? Or sets, plural. Sets that represented the 90s to them. And then from that list, they narrowed it down to what was the exact number? Is it 6 finalists? 5 finalists. 5 finalists. 5 finalists that defined the 90s, Brian. These 90s sets make me angry.
All right. Well, I was barely born, so I don't really have a, you know.
Like the 80s, frankly, I'm still so excited about the 80s. Goonies, Gremlins, hell yes. Thank you so much, Lego. Cannot wait. Okay. These 90s sets are a slap in the face for anybody that grew up in the 90s. There were a lot of better options than what these finalists are up for voting right now. Let's go through them, shall we? Here is the Forrest Gump suitcase of memories.
I've never seen Forrest Gump. Don't shoot me.
Are you kidding me?
I know.
Wow.
I know. I've never seen Jaws. I only watched Good Will Hunting as of like 3 years ago.
I need to take a month, and I just need to come live. I need to come live with you for a month. Okay. And I know you got a lot of stuff going on. I will find the time in your calendar, and we will just start every day. We're going to have, it's going to be on the list. It's the 6th thing on the list. It's the 2.5 hours on your list that we need to dedicate to a film of some kind. My God. So anyway, here you go. You have the Forrest Gump suitcase of memories. I mean, this is a GWP. Like, give me a break. Like, this doesn't define the 90s for me at all. I'm not sure what's going on here. Then we have the Mr. Bean set. It's so obscure. I don't know, man. I'm not vibing with it. I don't get it. It's just not enough to look at it and go, oh, that's what that is. You know what I mean? At least the Forrest Gump one, you're like, okay, I get it. Right. The Mighty Ducks is probably the best one out of this whole bunch, which I never would have thought. The Mighty Ducks. The Mighty Ducks apparently defined the 90s. Who knew that Emilio Estevez and his Mighty Ducks would define the 90s?
Dude, Lego had these NHL branded sets in like the early 2000s, and they had these hockey players, but they were in bottles akin to like Bionicle, but they were water bottles. You can use them as water bottles.
Nice.
Those are very cool.
Nice.
And this kind of reminds me of that in a way. Not actually, no, they're very different. So not even a little bit. But it's cool. It's cool.
The Mighty Duck, man, I swear to God.
This is also a movie I have not seen.
But that's the point. Like, I'm not going to get on you for not seeing the Mighty Ducks from the 90s. Like, that's not, there are a lot of 90s Disney type-esque movies that were very similar to the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
That I am not going to be like, why not any of those? Why not? There was one where it was all about like skating and the kids like chased the protagonist the entire time through like the streets of San Francisco on, you know, inline roller skates or whatever. I can't even remember the damn name of the movie, but that scene is stuck out in my head. It's stuck in there, and I can't even remember the name of the movie, but it's like same premise. Like, you know, the California kid moves to wherever or something. Brink, maybe. I don't know. I can't even, but regardless, but that's my point. These are these are sets that are supposed to, these are franchises or properties that are supposed to have defined the 90s.
So, but this is a qualifying round, and it's competing with the other ones that we've talked about before, correct?
No, this is it. This is the
no, because there was ET and all that too.
ET was 80s.
Oh, you're right.
No, this is it. This is what we're voting on. This is what gets made into a set.
Oh, this is really bad.
Okay.
Oh.
This is what gets made into a set. Wallace and Gromit. Now, let me say this.
You like that motorbike there, Lauren? You like that motorbike?
It looks a lot better than Hagrid's motorbike, I'll tell you that.
Okay? Oh, I can't disparage the motorbike. I forgot. I like that set. I like this one too.
Okay. But we just got this set. You know what I mean? Like we literally just got.
But this is going to release 2 years from now.
Okay.
That's going to be long. It's going to retire in 3 months. We'll forget about it, and then we'll do that. It'll be one of these land members that says, "Oh, let's. Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new Lego video. Today we're going to be comparing the Wallace and Gromit to the Hagrid's motorbike. Now this originally released in May of 2000."
We just censor that now. Then out of all of them, this is probably my favorite looking one, just because, you know, from a render standpoint, it looks like they did a good job with the render. How does this actually translate into real build?
This is a good build.
Yeah.
It's a very good build.
So it could be that could be interesting. If I was voting, I would vote on that one. I would also, just because of nostalgia's sake, and my love for the franchise, the Buffy library. However, this is a boring set, guys. It looks boring.
The render is boring.
This is a stupid, boring set. I'm a huge Buffy fan. I don't get it. Like, the library was a prominent part of that show for the first 4 seasons. You could maybe spice it up with, like, if you added the Hellmouth underneath and like a big creature, so like something that opened up out of the floor and a creature came out of it or whatever. Like, you could do something like that with this set. But dude, this is a boring set. Like,
this really kind of looks like the X-Files one with like the Office.
Yeah,
underneath.
The X-Files one I didn't get either, because it was like it's a boring.
No, but that's set. Way cooler than this.
I agree. This would need other stuff. This would need something else with it. Like I said, if you had a floor, there was a whole thing in the show where the Hellmouth was right underneath the library. If you had the floor and it could open up into a big tentacle type monster or whatever, that added some action to it. Okay, fine. But again, it was only 4 years of the show out of all of them, out of the 7 seasons it had. 8 seasons.
What's going to be great is, regardless of which of these sets come out, it will be on store shelves for 6 months and then go away forever.
Yeah,
because these all stink, unfortunately. No dig at the builders, but the concepts and what Lego approved, not great. So these are immediately going to be released and then gone. So this is just kind of a waste of time, man, in my opinion.
I look at those and I just think, man, what? There had to have been something better during the 90s that they could have pulled from. I just feel like they're doing the 90s in an injustice here. Like, I just don't get it, man. It's just not.
No, actually, they're not, because Pokemon's coming out.
Nailed it. Well, that's the other thing too. Obviously, there are the actual second round of ideas review winners will be announced tomorrow on the 21st of March. So 35 finalists all 35 finalists for that second round of ideas. This second round of ideas submissions hit the 10,000 votes that they needed. And in that list is Wallace and Gromit, is Bluey, are some rehashes of things, right? So yeah, I would rather have seen a Power Rangers set. Give me that Power Rangers, the room there with Zordon in the middle and the big thing and the Power Rangers. I mean, I would rather have a command center like that than the Buffy the Vampire.
You know what they didn't do? Because my opinion on this property is correct and that it's a highly overrated movie that doesn't deserve to be acknowledged today. They did not do Iron Giant.
That's one of those ones I feel like they didn't do because they already have it cooking. Like we also have that issue where they specifically turn down sets and don't allow them to go through because they know they have them in the hopper and they're just waiting on the ink to dry kind of thing. So yeah, it may be overrated to you, but that is a set that people are going to get. You put that in a little diorama style thing and make it neat, and what people are going to buy the heck out of that thing, man. And Lego would know that, and they're going to, if a designer in that room has already made that and it's sitting on they don't need to approve it. They're already gonna go that direction with it. That's what I think. But I feel like there are other, I mean, you could have had the second coming of a Voltron by having the Power Rangers, all their Zords and stuff, and really had done something really special for the 90s, and they just didn't. And that's a shame.
Lauren in chat is right. Give me a modular blockbuster. Let's go. Are you kidding me?
A modular blockbuster would be hot. I would absolutely.
Sorry, Zach. End the show. My bad.
Yeah, I would absolutely love that. Yo, boy, the hour just goes, man. It just flies on by. But listen, if you are in our live audience right now, hang out, because we probably have more stuff to talk about, right? We would love to get your ideas on 90s properties that should have been created into a set. So stick around for the ZMB live post show. For the rest of you watching after the fact or listening after the fact, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. Make sure to hit that bell notification icon, subscribe over on YouTube, share out the posts, do whatever we got to do to help tell your friends, your neighbors, your loved ones about ZMB Live, your unfiltered Lego podcast. Mr. Bricks O'Brien, we will see you next week for more Z and B Live. Until then, everybody, bye. Welcome to the Z and B Live post show.
I'll do you one better. The next modular should be a video store arcade combo.
I still like the arcade idea. I really do.
I don't know why they haven't done an arcade, man. Like it's so stupid.
You could even do a cool arcade idea with and put an IP with it. You can make it Flynn's Arcade from freaking Tron or whatever, right?
Anything. Here's the smart move. You have the arcade and you have Pac-Man. You had an arcade from Dimensions, and you can release a Tron 3 set that has the arcade. So the cabinets all exist on their own. And when you get the modular, you can put them in the modular. Mm-hmm. And you obviously have random arcades in the modular to fill it out, but like you can swap them out with the IPs. So like why? You could literally do a video rental store, and don't tell me they wouldn't do it because it's old, because they've done the diner, they've done the
I would love it.
What's this called? The Tudor
Blockbuster with the arcade on top. You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. That's just hot, dude. That is,
dude. You make it that 90s, like that, those neon pinks and greens with like you could take a black light to it and it would all illuminate. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Oh man, please.
Yeah.
So in.
We basically do extend this now, Jameson, to 2 hours almost, right? Because we hang out with you guys.
Hour and a half.
Yeah, we hang out with you guys until the conversation kind of stops. I'm appalled by the 90s submissions. Like I just don't.
Kind of suck.
It's not a knock on the designers of those sets. I just feel like that the ones that were selected as a representation of the 90s in general, like it just doesn't make any sense to me at all. And I'm a big big Buffy fan. Like that is a series. Buffy and Angel is a series that we pull out. We own them on Apple TV, and we'll sit and watch them. All of a sudden we'll just randomly go through the entire 2 series, right? Go through them all, and we love that franchise. Absolutely love that. I read the entire they called it the 9th season. I think it was a comic book series that Joss Whedon had done to continue the story of Buffy after the show was canceled. And I read that comic. I was like, just don't get the set.
Let me play it out for you here, though. I literally just looked up 90s franchises. We have TMNT. There's
Turtles would have.
Yeah, but that's Nickelodeon with I don't think they're actually with anybody right now. I want SpongeBob to come back. Like, SpongeBob would be cool. But there's Spyro tied up with Activision. Same thing with Crash Bandicoot. Lego has tackled a lot of this stuff already, man. They've tackled a lot of it already.
I mean, they did tackle it. That doesn't mean they can't bring it back. That doesn't mean that it can't be a good excuse to bring it back. Right. These are
Power Rangers. That would have been a slam dunk. But I think they're working on Power Rangers.
I think so, too. And I think that's why they don't. It's the same thing with the Iron Giant. Like, I think that they have this stuff already cooking. They're just not wanting to let the cat out of the bag. And so because we saw it with Snow White forever. Right. The Snow White Cottage.
It would have been great. I know what you would have gotten day one and been ravenous if they came out with a GoldenEye set.
Dude,
you'd be about it.
Dude, they can't do that though. They could not do a GoldenEye set.
I mean, they did a James Bond car.
Right, but what do you do? I mean, I don't know what you would do for a GoldenEye that would be different from a James Bond car.
I don't know.
There's enough other stuff in the 90s that they could. I feel like
what I really want is a vote like this, but for Christmas sets from intellectual property. Like put like the Jim Carrey Grinch and National Lampoons and put them all in one vote. Like that would be to the death. People would be. There might be blood drawn on that one. That would be awesome.
So yeah, because like Star Trek would have been a good Next Generation would have been a good 90s one.
They're coming out with that leaked.
Like they've got it right, so they're doing it already, kind of thing. UCS GoldenEye cartridge. Yeah, they're not. I mean, yeah, some of this stuff they already have. Men in Black.
That's 2000. No, that is 90s, right?
Would have been 98, I think. No, 90. Wait, when was Independence Day? Independence Day was 96, right? Men in Black was after that. 97.
97. There is a better chance of me getting a $450 Peaches Castle than getting a National Lampoon.
Yeah, where's my National Lampoon modular?
At that, like that, there is no reality where that happens. But man, I would love it. I would.
It's so not fair. It's just not fair.
Yeah, that'll never happen. But it would be awesome. I need to know that Brian has seen Rush Hour. I have not, regrettably. I've also never watched all the way through The Godfather or Sopranos. I've seen Goodfellas once, years ago.
I never watched any of Sopranos. Godfather I've seen multiple times. All three of them multiple times. I quit. Yeah, I need a month. I need a month with Brian where we can just go through. I can start.
You're not the first person to say that to me. Won't be the last, but
what the heck, man?
I'm too busy putting this pitch together, dude.
What were you doing when you were 15?
I was doing like content creation.
Content creators, I feel like, should have at least some reference of most popular culture and know what's happening.
I do,
but not if you haven't seen it. Like, it exists.
I've seen plenty of other stuff. I've experienced a lot of stuff, just not everything. I still haven't seen Lord of the Rings. Hey, how many Pokemon games have you played?
2.
Yeah, so shut up. Old man.
Listen, you play one Pokemon game, you played them all.
Not necessarily. Well, Pokemon Go is different from Pokemon traditional, you know.
I've watched my son, because he was a really big Pokemon fan when he was younger. He got all the, and he would have to get both of them too. Whatever, like they'd come out with Scarlet and this, right? Like he'd have to get
Red and Blue
both,
and all that.
Yeah, whatever. Need both of them. And I watched him play a lot of those games, and I just remember watching it, going, "It's the same game." It's the same game.
No, it is the same game. Yes. Well, because you were supposed to, they were encouraging you trading with your friends. You weren't supposed to get both. Like you can, but you're not supposed to get both.
Forget the duel. I'm talking about from year to year. It was the same game.
Oh, well, there's new Pokemon. There's a new storyline. They add new mechanics. I mean, some of them are not great, but Yeah. That's your old man coming out right there. That's what that is.
Oh, please. Listen.
Be tooting and not even realizing it. You're like, what? Whoa.
Game Boy. So that reminds me, February 27th is actually Pokemon Day. Do you think that's when the first sets come out for Lego? You don't think they'll wait till February? You think they'll come out in January?
No, January. Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
Dude, that New Year's, I hope I'm notable and famous so somebody can just send me these Pokemon sets. I don't want to wake up New Year's Day 2026 and battle the Pokemon neckbeards to get these sets on day one. Please.
Are these a day
someone
one?
From the sky, send them to me, please.
Like without seeing them, obviously. Like, are Pokemon's a big enough brand for you to go out and get day one?
I've fallen out of Pokemon a little bit because the games kind of suck. But I do play Pokemon Sleep every single night, and I use it to track my sleep every single night for over 500 days. So, yes, it is for that reason. It's important to me. And I have like a Pokemon cookie jar and Pikachu salt and pepper shakers. Like Pokemon is a part of my life, and I have Piplup behind me. Right, he's always behind me there. So yeah, definitely. But I don't need every single I was thinking about this, like having a semi-existential crisis, because I'm like, well, okay, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the best I had that most closely resonated with what my interest was in Lego was Harry Potter and some Star Wars and whatever. And now they're releasing enough of Mario and Pokemon and Zelda and whatever that all of my favorite things are now in Lego form. So as a kid, I would have been like, whoa, this is, and then Marvel and then whatever. So like, I don't have room for even the stuff I love, I don't have the room for, let alone the stuff I'm kind of 80% on. Like the stuff I really, really like, I don't have room and shouldn't be dedicating whatever to it. Like, what do I do?
Okay, so they got Pokemon now, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Marvel.
What's left?
Bluey, Star Trek. What's next? What's next? Nike, F1. What's next?
Like Nintendo. That I would be excited about, or in general?
In general. What could be the next big IP that they could get their hands on? I'm workshopping another episode.
Yeah, no, literally. Yeah. No, I mean, this is a good thing. Stargate, get out of here,
nerd.
You're 90 years old. Get out of here. Take a look at this guy over here.
Stargate.
Man.
Just because, like, that's they made that Candy Crush. They made that announcement of Nike, and sneakerheads were like, my God, G.I. Joe. Well, they can't they can't do G.I. Joe. I don't know. Bringing something like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back would be nice.
I want SpongeBob back. I want Nickelodeon back, man. What's the deal?
A Nickelodeon partnership. A Nickelodeon would be a good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they had before. They had that with Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
SpongeBob. And TMNT. They technically own.
Yeah, that would be like getting Nintendo, or I'm sorry, getting Nickelodeon back. That would be big news. It still wouldn't be as big as news as Pokemon.
Not at all.
You just don't realize the significance of Pokemon until you really start drilling down into it.
Yeah,
and just how international it is.
I don't know about this crowd. I don't think people realize how big this is. Well, I don't think so. Here's the thing, Roy. You could do, but that's American national sports. I know it's, you know, we have the Toronto Raptors, so technically the NBA is an international. Shut up, it's national, right? It does not.
Hey, the winner of the Super Bowl is the world champions. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, all right, shut up. Well, I mean, they, to be fair, they are having what, 1 or 2 games internationally every year.
They're having way more than that now. They are 2 years away from putting a team in London, like, or somewhere overseas, like having an actual team.
No, but think of that logistical nightmare of teams flying over. You have to have a bye week.
But it doesn't matter. They are 2 years away from that happening. They are going to move a team. They're not going to expand the league, but they will move a team over there.
No.
In 2 years, guaranteed.
No. Who would you move? Sidebar on this, but who would you move?
The Jags.
Really?
First team pops in my head is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
They suck that bad. No one wants them here.
Nobody's going to their games, man.
That's true. If you take the lowest team in the NFL here, you'd make them the biggest stars over there by default.
Yep.
In terms of other,
team every year gets moved. That puts some incentive.
I mean, really,
that
could be it. Yeah, man. I mean, but like stuff that's important and relevant. Man, I mean, there's a rumor of Simpsons coming back with Krusty Burger. So
I don't know if they could do it. Dude, I want Gundam. I think, dude, if you give me Gundam with the mechs that they have shown that they have the capability of designing.
A slam dunk at Japan, man.
And yeah, you talk about bringing another huge international audience to Lego. And you design those sets the way that they design the model kits themselves, where you add the skeletal frame, then you add the armor, and you build it the way you do that.
I think Lego is going to be at a point very soon where they really give me the censor. They really got to cut and make an original property people actually care about, not dreams. Something else, something new, something relevant that transcends all the themes.
So what was wrong with Dreams though? Why is Dreams not, why did that fail? Why does that fail?
The overarching complaint I've heard is that it feels like it was manufactured. Like it doesn't have that special sauce that Ninjago has. It doesn't have that same special sauce that Bionicle has. It's like in our market research analytics, we found that children of all ages simply enjoy the fact that they can dream. Here at Lego, we will implement the ability to dream with our latest line of there's a lot of that, right? That's what I've heard.
Interesting.
I don't know if anybody here would agree, but that's what I've heard. That's my guess.
I have yet to build a single one of those dream sets because again, it's another theme that I just don't want to start investing money into because I'm investing so much other money into other themes. I've watched people build dream sets and they look fun. They look amazing. They're really neat. They got really cool parts. They got really cool minifigs. Like I haven't seen a problem with them. The box art looks cool. Like they look cool on a shelf, So it's like, why are they not clicking? What is it about it not clicking? I just don't get it. I don't know. And because I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is that next, original. Like, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't try to make your own mech line or anything like that. Like, go get.
They tried with Exoforce forever ago.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, don't go doing that again. Like, just if you're going to try to go down the mech route, go get an established brand, an IP like Gundam, and say we're going to put that in there and do it that way. I don't know if Bandai would sign on with them or not, but because they've got their own, you know what I mean? Because they already got their own. It's a different audience, but they've got their own kind of model. It could be a nice gateway for some kids, though. Be like, hey, look, you could do these, or then you could do the model kits too. I don't know. Could be an interesting IP for them to get their paws into. They need a new lineup that they're passionate about, that they're not just going to release amongst a bunch of other stuff and then bury it.
Yeah, I don't really have the
Would it be up to Sunrise instead of Band? I guess maybe.
Yeah, I'm kind of the guy, right, that's kind of made his own thing, and how do you structure it? How do you whatever? I don't know. I think you and I can agree that like any good project or property or whatever, it starts with like a genuinely good idea. Like, what I would love to know the nexus point of Dreams as a concept. Who at Lego was like, it'd be really cool if we did this. And I think maybe that's part of it. Like, I haven't heard anybody speak passionately about it besides Lego as a brand, not a person. Who's the person? Who are the people that are like, we need to tell this story? Whereas with Ninjago, with Bionicle, those people are on X and Blue Sky and wherever, and they're talking about the series, and this is what's special about it, and this is what's whatever. And this has been the case for literally 10 years. Yeah. So if we're talking about a lack of humanity behind the face of Dreams, and what, maybe that's it, and maybe they're out there and I'm missing it, or it's just not part of the conversation and people don't care. I don't know. The
LAN members that you and I are friends with, that we know, that we typically follow, so none of them are talking about Dreams. They all made their video about the dragon the other day, but like that.
That's Ninjago, dude. That ain't Dreams.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They all got together and there was a big marketing push, obviously, on Lego's side to make it, something about Ninjago.
One specific Ninjago set, which is weird. I don't know why
bizarre. I still don't get it. But like, I haven't seen a push like that with their other original IP, which is Dreams. And it's almost just like they just kind of put it out there to die. Like, they're not investing the time into it. They have a built-in marketing system with their Lego ambassador network, and nobody's talking about Dreams, dude. They clearly will push out messaging when they want to push it out, because we literally saw every single LAN member that we know put out a video about this freaking dragon. So there's clear, like, sometimes there is, not necessarily interference is a bad word, but there is a push, a strategy in place for their LAN members to push out very specific content. Not because they want to, but because they are being asked to. And that dragon was a clear example of that. They're not asking them to do that for Dreams, and I don't get it. Because it's cool. They're cool sets. They're cool sets. They do some neat stuff with them. I hate to see it die, but that's what it feels like right now.
What I'm really surprised by is there's a significant lack of Lego Fortnite sets that have been announced.
Have there been any outside of what we've already, like, officially, right? Just that initial dump, and then that's been it. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what worries me about Pokemon. I know it's like, Fortnite and Pokemon are two different things, but Fortnite was one of those ones where it kind of, the sets that they pushed out were just going to print money. Like, the people are going to get them regardless of how fancy they made them or how not fancy they made them. It didn't matter. If they're Fortnite fans, are going out and they're getting them, right? I feel like it's going to be the same way with Pokemon. I feel like they can push out whatever they want. They can keep their cost as low as possible, and people are going to go get them. Same thing with Bluey. You know, those kids are going to go buy up those Duplo sets. Like, you know, they're gonna go get them. Those 4+ sets are gonna go off the shelf. They don't care. They don't care what those minifigs look like. It was the adults complaining, not the kids.
So here's what I don't understand about, maybe this is a too philosophical of a business question, but like, when has a company done that and it's worked out well long term?
Where they just said, where they did the Jurassic Park method.
That still exists today.
You're looking at them. We're talking about them. That's what Lego does.
So, man, like,
that's why I'm saying I don't think they're going to do anything special. I don't think they need to, because I think people are going to. We have yet to prove as AFOLs, as Lego buying public, that we will hold that company to a higher standard with their product. Their standards, for the most part, are even getting lower when it comes to quality control and pricing. Pricing is going up, quality is going down a little bit, right? The amount of sets are being overwhelmed. They're flying off. They're literally retiring them in the same year that they're being released, because it's turn and burn, baby. It's quantity over quality. And we have yet to stop buying it. Disney's doing the same thing with all of their remakes of their movies and stuff. Snow White's getting ready to come out, right? Like, all they're doing is remaking old classics, old animated classics, and people are still going to the cinema to see them. They're still making millions of dollars, right? Until you hold these companies to a higher standard and say, I'm not going to do it as a big collective, they're going to continue to do it because it's low cost, low risk, high reward, man.
So, but why, in your professional opinion, why do you think people continue to go back to the well on those things and don't venture out to something new? Do you think people are afraid to risk their precious time on something they don't know or don't trust?
Familiarity is comfortable.
And we live in an uncomfortable time, especially now.
It's as simple as that, man. You want those creature comforts. You want, the nostalgia. You want something that feels safe. It's the same thing we saw with films, right? It's sequels print money. Originals do not, right? Very rarely does an original film that is very well acted, very well directed, very well written make, a gazillion dollars and have a lot of legs, right? It's the sequels that sell out 3 or 4 theaters in a multiplex, not the original from Studio A24.
If we look at Bluey, that is something original that's emerged in the past 10 years.
Sure.
That's been well respected.
Sure.
So I think it's out there, and I think it requires the right people behind it. Like, I just think, I think it's as simple as that. Like, there's too many, I don't know. A lot of that stuff has kind of gotten in the way of making. So this is a very different discussion than what we started with, but like, whatever.
Welcome to the post show.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true though. And you have to try as an original, you have to try 30 times to have one success, right?
Yeah.
And that's, it's finding studios or properties or whatever companies to take that risk that will, they're willing to take that risk 30 times in order to have one hit on their hand. It takes a lot of other things to come before a Bluey that actually, connects and hits and whatnot.
And Disney's done original stuff. Like Frozen is relatively newer, and Encanto is newer.
Right? But all they're doing now is just remaking those in live action. They're not pushing out newer. They're not pushing out new animated product outside of Pixar. I'm sorry, they tried with that. They tried with Wish, and Wish failed miserably.
They're doing an Oswald the Lucky Rabbit series for Disney Plus, which warms my heart for sure. Jon Favreau behind it. That's pretty cool. Mandalorian was technically new. It's Star Wars, but like it's a new thing,
Yeah. Speaking of sidebar to that, California is turning in a ton of new tax credits now. They're trying to bring people back to making.
Oh, that won't matter if the income tax is still that high. That's not going to work.
They're trying to entice people to come back. So obviously, a lot of stuff went to Atlanta, especially in Georgia, because Georgia was offering a ton of tax credits to films and productions and TV and stuff. So California's now started to turn around and do that quite substantially. Matter of fact, Fallout Season 2 just got a $153 million tax cut from California. Mando and Grogu, that film, got a $24 million tax credit on that film, making it one of the cheapest Star Wars productions ever. And I think a lot of that probably has to do with the fact that now they've moved to that, which I don't think for a feature film is a good idea, but they moved to that
the round,
whatever that thing is called. And I think that hurts. Stuff. I think for television, turn and burn, I think it's fine. I think for a film, I don't think you should be using that as much. But,
I mean, we'll see, right?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that they did, and I think that had a lot to do with keeping the cost down anyway. But then having it, because it was still only 166 million when everything was said and done after the credit, so that still only would have been 190 million dollar film. The Rise of Skywalker, which obviously had its production issues because they had to go back to the drawing board after Carrie Fisher died. They brought J.J. Abrams back. That was a $490 million movie. Yeah.
And it sucked.
Yeah. Well, it was good. It wasn't great. But it just shows, like, even that film compared to Mando and Grogu, that without the tax credit, that's still a $250,000 swing, right? Like, that's crazy. $250 million swing. Sorry. That's crazy.
And you know what? People are going to want to see that more than Rise of Skywalker at the time, I believe, because of what happened with Last Jedi. And I think it's going to do really well. So although it takes place in Star Wars and you did get your Luke Skywalker, nostalgia bait, I think even if you didn't have that, it's still something original from the world.
It's also had a lot of separation from the sequel trilogy, and it's been a while since we've seen Star Wars in a cinema. So I think that's gonna help too. And depending on how they sell it.
It's been a while since a Star Wars movie. What has it been, 2019?
Yeah.
Wow, it's been 6 years since a Star Wars movies comes out.
We got hit with Last Jedi, or I'm sorry, with Rise of Skywalker and Endgame same year. That was a huge year, man. Talking about printing money. My God. Disney was loaded in 2019. They could ride that storm of COVID in 2020 because of those two movies that year.
I was watching behind the scenes of episode 3 just for the sake of it. They have it on YouTube. It's like a 2-hour long cut up of all these different segments. Super interesting. Love that stuff.
Go back, again, I know people have a lot of disdain for Last Jedi. I highly encourage you to go watch the making of that they put out when that movie came out. It's like a hour and a half, something long documentary that Rian Johnson shot a lot of it himself and stuff like that, of everything going on behind the scenes. And it was a very well done, very well shot documentary about the.
Is it on Disney Plus?
It should be. I would think it is. But it was a special feature when the film came out, so I'm assuming that they would have it on Disney Plus. Maybe it won't, maybe it will. I don't know. I would think that would give you a little bit of insight to what happened in his mind when making that movie.
I might watch that tonight if it's on there.
And what where everybody else's heads were when making that, and how a lot of the weird hearsay sound bites and stuff that people quote today that aren't really quotes. It's interesting hearing another side of it, frankly. And maybe it might give you a new appreciation for him as a filmmaker and what he did with that film.
They are doing Light and Magic season 2, so that'll be very cool.
There you go. Anyway, well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and letting us rant a little bit about film and whatever else. And hopefully one day we can get Mr. Bricks O'Brien to actually watch, some of these other movies like Godfather and Jaws and Rush Hour and Rush Hour 2. You could skip Rush Hour 3. You don't need to see Rush Hour 3.
Yeah.
But maybe you could watch Rush Hour and Rush Hour 2. But hey, who knows? Anyway, thank you guys so much. We'll be back next Thursday. Excuse me. Next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everybody, get them in here. We'll see you guys next week, 7 p.m. Eastern. Bye.
Yep.